one, we have three arms of state, basically, and they all operate in a doctrine of separation of powers, being I honestly do not know what is this lighting. Anyways, hi, igama lami AsandaNtini, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, if you are new here, I am an admitted attorney and I share content on mostly all things legal, lifestyle, faith. I am a Christian, so I do share a lot of Christian faith-based content here. If you are interested in anything like that, do not forget to subscribe and like this video, share it with everyone. It's going to be a quick one. A lot of people think that our courts actually make laws and pass laws and all of that. They don't. They develop common law. There is a specific arm of state that actually does that. We have three independent arms of the state. One of those, it is the executive, which is basically the cabinet ministers, deputy president, and the president. Those are the heads of state. That's the head of state, basically. And the president is the head of state and the head of government. It could be, sometimes they are not both. Anyways, that's not the story. But yeah, those are two. That's the first one. And then the second one is actually the legislature, which the legislature is made up of two houses, being the National Assembly, which is Parliament as we know it, and then the National Council of Provinces. Yes, the Council of Provinces. Those are the two, and then obviously that's the second one. And then the third one is the judiciary, which are the courts. What are the three duties? Not three duties. What are the duties of these three different components? First of all, the cabinet ensures that policies are implemented. If, for example, there's a policy of national health care, as we know that's with the president to sign. Now, it's the job of the cabinet ministers in that case, it would be the job of the Minister of Health to now actually implement this new policy that has been made. Who then made the policy, or who passed or failed the policy, or who came up with it's the National Assembly. Who is the National Assembly? National Assembly basically is made up of 400 up to 400 members who are people basically speaking on voices of people. Like, for example, if you are the ANC, you have about more than 100 people that are speaking on your behalf on the interest of your people. It's the DA, the EFF, the IFP, whichever political party, because our parliament is mostly made up of people in the politics. Those are the people. Basically, the legislature is the people, and that's where laws are actually made. It's not the courts that actually make law. That's where policies are made. That's why when a court makes a decision in its duty of developing the common law. What is common law? Common law is basically, in just a simple term, it's the laws that go. It's case laws that go into court. So in courts developing its common law, they are basically testing the laws that are done by a legislature. So now you see how all of these people actually work together but not together, because we have in our constitution what we call the doctrine of separation of powers. Each party cannot interfere in the business of the other. But we are seeing these days mostly everything is being sent to court. Everyone is just not addressing issues where they're supposed to be addressed. Like, if you have an issue with a policy, address it in parliament, not just an issue in policy. Obviously, if you're a person being affected by a certain policy, you're going to send it to court, and then the court might then say, okay, actually this is unconstitutional, or it is constitutional. That's a different story. But we are seeing people that are supposed to be developing laws, people that are in parliament fighting each other instead of fighting each other in courts to ensure that courts make the decisions on their behalf so that they don't have to do their jobs, which is just crazy business for me. Anyways, yeah. So with that said, all of those and most of what people are confused, and I understand the confusion. I really understand the confusion, especially when it comes to the function of the judiciary, because most of the questions, most of the decisions that are made in our country are made in courts, which they're not supposed to be like that, but they happen to be like that because of the type of a country. And I'm not going to get into the politics of our country because I could be here longer than I wanted to be. Anyways, yeah, I hope this explains the question of Uguti. Why are courts doing this? Our courts are this way. Courts are just merely applying the law and then developing common law, like testing the law. Like, for example, testing the issue of one thing that I usually speak about is the choice of termination of pregnancy. That's one case that was tested a lot, like in cases like Doctors for Life and all of those. When the Constitution is created, it says everyone has a right to this to bodily autonomy. Basically, I'm not wording it right. So basically, everyone has a right to their body and make decision. Yada yada yada. And then you take this, and then our courts obviously now interpret this and say it would be wrong to have a policy that says this, and that because we have a constitution that says this. That's just the job of the courts. Another example, S versus Makwanyane, right to life. If our court's duty, they are to say, nope, this is the right to life, and everyone has a right to life, and you cannot now impose policies that say a person must now be RIP'd if they do this type of crime. So that's what they do, and then a policy is then sent to Parliament like, if you are still confused about this, ask yourself, why do they say we've sent this back to Parliament to review or change in 12 months, like the recent one of the Matrimonial Property Act. I can't remember which one it is, but the issue of being married out of community of property, that's been sent back to Parliament to reword and change certain things because it is not in line with the principles of our constitution, and it biases on mostly women or people that are not working at the time of their working, or basically contributing economically in the marriage. So things like those, our courts look at those and then obviously send it back to Parliament to develop it. But there's not a situation where our courts make these acts. When you see an act, it's not an act of court, it's an act of Parliament, and Parliament basically is the people. That's why we are given a chance once they've developed a policy. I spoke about the RAF Act recently. Once they've developed a policy like the RAF Act, we are given opportunities to comment. Amendments like the ones that I've spoken about before about the RAF Act. That's why it's very important for people to comment, because we basically are the people that influence, as people, as lay people, as normal people, as civilians. We are the people that actually make up the decisions, not just decisions, but on the policies that govern us. And if we don't make those comments, we're going to find ourselves in situations where we have policies that we do not agree with, and then we're going to now be spending a lot of time in courts, and the courts being indicted by things that, who do we hold accountable for those situations? To hold our legislature accountable. So if ever you have a question about policy, you have a question about an act of some sort, maybe the person to look into is our legislature. Maybe mandate. I'm not saying everyone is strictly doing what's in their mandates. There are people who fall short. Like, we are all humans. At the end of the day, all of these arms, as independent as they are, as the principle of separation of powers is, people still are actually humans, and they may interfere in the powers of the other. I hope I'm making sense. I'm blabbering too much, and I'm going to get all over the place if I continue. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative, and you now understand that, one, we have three arms of state, basically. the executive being made up of the cabinet and the president, and then we have legislature, which is made up of the National Assembly and then the provincial government, which is the National Council of Provinces, and then we have what's this one? We have finally the judiciary, which is made up of all of our courts, and they are there, and the functions of each person vary. Executive is basically there to implement all the policies that are developed, ensuring that they actually are working in each of their whatever department. The legislature is there to actually make the laws. That's what the executive does. Not the executive, but the legislature. And then the judiciary is there to test all of those laws and develop common law and develop all of these things that are being done. Test, rather, I think the right word is to say it's there to test all of these policies that are there and are created for us. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Do not forget to like, comment, and share this video. Bye.